let me show you a couple books that I really loved that I'm getting rid of. It's Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb, and guys, the only reason why I'm getting rid of this book is because I got the first 3 books of the series in a different edition with a flag. They're really cute. It's just such a cool book. I love it. It's fantasy and it's best. Robin Hobb became an immediate favorite for me, and I can't wait to read the other books in the series. It's ginormous, so I have a hell lot of ton of books to look forward to reading. It's following Fitz, who is sort of an orphan, kind of, and he is just thrown into this court life, and he's trying to survive, and his education is kind of building him up to become an assassin in the future. It's a completely awesome book. 5 out of 5 stars, would recommend, would read again, totally awesome. If you don't read this one, you miss out big time. Another book that I'm getting rid of because I got a new different edition is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas, and this is the beautiful European edition, I think, in paperback. I'm getting rid of this one. Totally loved the book, totally loved the second book. Sarah J Maas may have faults, I'm not going to be talking about them, but it's a cool fantasy. It's a Beauty and the Beast retelling. If you don't know anything about this book, go to Goodreads, check it out. It has so much reviews, it kind of speaks for itself. A book that I read, which isn't famous, which is kind of why it's interesting to talk about this one. It's called Here There Be Dragons by James A. Owen. And it has this glossy little cover, and the special thing about this book, it's a mix of Narnia and all kinds of fantasy, and it's a bit of, it's not really YA, it could be a good book for kids, you know, for like from 9 to 12. Perfect time to read this book. And the cool fact about this book is that the writer is also an illustrator, and he worked on all those gorgeous illustrations, and this is the best part about the series, his own illustrations, and it's gorgeous. And there's a series of like 6 or 5 books, and I'll probably be reading them at some point, but I think I will just be content with ebooks. I wanted to kind of own it and look at it, and it's very pleasant, but it's also not, it's a really cool book, but I don't see myself rereading them. It's following these 3 guys who are Oxford graduates, and they are brought together to save this book called the Imaginarium Geographica, which is an atlas of imaginary lands, and they go on a big journey on a boat to try to save it from evil, and it's really cool. It has dragons and cool talking animals and all the best stuff that you could imagine, so definitely a book worth checking out, and especially if you have like a kid or you want to find a cool book for a kid to read. Yeah, this is a really nice book. The next book that I'm unhauling is The $100 Startup by Chris Guillebeau, and I bought this book last summer when I was kind of broke and I had almost only $100, and I was like, hey, motivational book? I think so. So I read this one, and it's actually, it is kind of what it says on the tin, but not quite. It's this book full of case studies talking about other people and their business ideas who have started from very, very low amounts of money. Hey, Gwen. Yeah, she does her own thing. She's only 3 months old. She's so cute. It's talking about several ideas and their execution, but to tell you the truth, I don't really think it's quite worth its money. It's very motivational, and when you read it, you're like, yeah, hell yeah, I want to get to work, I want to do my own thing, but it's only good for like research and motivation. It's not full of practical data, so this is why I'm unhauling this. Up next, Passenger by Alexandra Bracken. It's a gorgeous looking cover. I bought it in hardcover, but unfortunately I didn't love the series, the first book in the series, enough to continue. It's following a violinist, Edda, who is suddenly finding out that she can time travel, and she gets into this whole huge kind of a heist type situation. She has to go into a different time and trying to survive and find an artifact or two, and it's a really fun story, and there's lots of love and romance in it as well, but I thought it was a bit rushed, and there were plot holes in the execution of time traveling, which is a big issue when you talk about a time traveling book. And I also didn't really like how the book ended on a huge cliffhanger, so I think somebody else will love this book way more than I did, so I'm happy to give it away, especially since it's so gorgeous and it's in good condition. Here, check this out. The next book I'm unhauling I read in Russian, and it's Starbucks Forever, how to, what does it say? How to save your business without losing your soul. Basically, it's one of the Starbucks books talking about the execution of Howard Schultz's business strategy and his concerns, and it was a very cool motivational read. It taught me a lot about Starbucks and their policy. Again, more of a motivational sort of read. I don't imagine reading this book again, so this is why I'm giving it away, so other people can enjoy the motivational story and some difficulties in the business and the running of the business, and also Starbucks is an interesting corporation, so why not? Another book that I'm unhauling turned out to be such a huge disappointment to me. I can't even. I got this in an ABC store in Amsterdam. It's called Starborn, and it's by Lucy Hounsom, and it's by Tor Publishing House. And I have a soft spot for Tor Publishing because they published Terry Goodkind, whom I love, and I hoped that it would give me some of those vibes. It's following this girl called Kyndra who is supposed to learn about her destiny in this big coming-of-age ritual, but when her turn on the ritual comes, she accidentally breaks the thing that kind of gives you your destiny, and the villagers aren't happy about that, so she has to run away, and those strangers take care of her, and a bunch of stuff happens. And I had high hopes for it, and I really loved it in certain places, and it's a really beautiful story cover, and from behind as well. But unfortunately I can't even finish the thing. I think I'm DNFing it at this point. I can't make myself read it. It had really stupid decisions, and Kyndra at first seems like an interesting character, but in the end, and whenever she makes a decision, it feels like it's not her making the decision, it's the author making the decision for her because she had to do a certain thing or act a certain way, and there is no logical explanation for it, so it's just there, it's just in the book. The idea of the story was very interesting, but the execution is very lacking, and there was also this harrowing episode in the book where Kyndra was kind of in a helpless situation, and she was almost sexually harassed by this boy who was kind of acting all strong and mature, and she couldn't escape it, and I was so angry at the scene. But then again, it happens, right? Sexual harassment, it happens. But what was unbearable for me is, like, 2 scenes later, she makes up with him, like, she just acts around him like he's her friend, and everything goes back to being fine, and they never discussed it, and I think it's a very bad representation, which is why I'm getting rid of this book. I don't know what I'm gonna do, whether I'm gonna sell it, because I don't think this book deserves to be resold. It's that bad. I can't. Last but not least, a book that I got in my travels this winter 2016. It's called Time for Bed by David Baddiel. It's this really cute little cover, and it's his debut novel. He didn't really write much. It was written in like the 90s, so it's really cool, has a really cool vintage feel to it. The pages are all yellowed out. You can see a bit of yellow here. And this is such a funny, sarcastic book, and it's really an adult novel. There's no other way of explaining this book, because it follows this guy, Gabriel. Gabriel is desperately in love with his brother's wife, and he does nothing about it. He's also an insomniac, so he really doesn't have it all together. And then he suddenly hears that his brother's wife has a twin sister. And yeah, the story starts with that, basically. Gabriel kind of has plans for his wife's twin sister because she's her twin, and it will be a great replacement for his evident crush. But, well, it's life, so there's a lot of cursing. He's talking about sex very explicitly. It's a very real novel. It talks about mature adult themes, and also Gabriel comes from a Jewish family, so there's also a healthy dose of his Jewish mother in there. So yeah, this book is really cool, I liked it, but I think it's fair to give it another chance because I read it, it was cool, I don't know if I'll be rereading it, so time to make shelf space for new stuff. So there we go guys, those are the books that I'm unhauling. I'm probably going to be doing a separate video on how I moved to the Netherlands, what's the process like. It might be interesting for some of you who are interested in what the process looks like, what kind of things have to be done, and yeah. Anyway guys, thank you for being with me until the end of this video. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and subscribe to my channel for more interesting bookish stuff, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye!